Paper books versus ebooks, just one of the many facets of the war between analog and digital. And for readers trying to build their library, it's important to know that there are pros to both. Knowing which one is best for you is going to depend on which of these features matters most. Let's jump into the video and I'll reveal the big secret of which one I prefer. Nobody wants to waste time, money, and resources on something that they'll later regret. So if you are a person who buys paper books, or maybe you're a new reader and you're not sure if you want to have a library that's mostly digital or physical, well, this video is for you. I think that my list makes it pretty clear what I think is best, but this video isn't just for me to boast my opinion that ebooks are superior, and I'm not really even trying to convince you to agree with me. But over the past few years, I've read about 80 books, and every single one of them has been digital. So I'm hoping that my experience with this format can help you make a decision that's right for you, so you won't regret the type of library you build for yourself. I obviously think that there are a lot of benefits to ebooks. I tried to list a whole bunch of them here. I won't be able to hit all of those in this video, but I do hope that I can share with you some of the highlights. First is that with ebooks, your library is always with you, which means that reading is more convenient, and it means that you can read way more often. There are so many instances where maybe you want to squeeze in some reading, but you didn't bring a book with you. But with ebooks, the books are always on your phone. I've read books when I'm waiting at the DMV, or sitting in the line at a drive-thru, waiting to get my oil changed, or at a friend's house when they're doing something and they're busy. In all of those instances, I didn't have the foresight or want to put forth the effort to bring a book with me. But since I had them all on my phone, I was able to get through a few pages when most people would just be mindlessly scrolling social media. And even if I had wanted to put forth the effort to bring a book, I'm going to have my phone on me anyway, so anything that I bring is just extra space and weight. Having all my books with me all the time also means that I'm able to scan my notes or highlights anytime, which I found really useful when I'm trying to remember something that I read and I'm away from home. This type of digital storage also means that your books can't get lost or stolen or damaged. If something happened to all of your belongings, all of your books would still be safe and sound. My second favorite thing about ebooks is that the text is fully dynamic. On a paper book, the text is printed on the page and it's stuck forever in its original form. But with an ebook, you can change the size of the text, the font, the color of the page, whatever you want, depending on your preference or your mood. Sometimes I want a white page with black letters, but other times a darker page with white letters makes sense, like if I'm in a dim or dark room and I don't want to strain my eyes. By the way, reading in the dark in the first place, another point for ebooks. Dynamic text also means that I can choose to scroll instead of having to individually turn pages. And you can even set it to automatically scroll without you having to touch anything, which I've used before while walking on a treadmill. Regardless of which options are useful to you or your own reading preferences, the point is that ebooks give you these options and paper books don't. Finally, ebooks are less wasteful. In The Story of Stuff by Annie Leonard, she mentions that every year we use about 30 million trees to make paper books. That's like 1,000 Central Parks worth of trees every year to make these. That's not even mentioning the water or the chemicals required or the other resources it takes to transport and store them. But the only resources needed for ebooks is some ones and zeros and the little bit of power that it takes to recharge your device. Power that, I should add, isn't really anything extra if you're already recharging your devices at night. So with digital books, there's a much smaller, almost non-existent environmental footprint. So when you make a book purchase, you don't have to worry about deforestation or the carbon emissions from shipping or the fact that your book is going to end up in a landfill one day. I wish I had time to talk about the fact that digital books don't give you paper cuts. You can easily search your books in nerds. I wish I had time to talk about the fact that digital books don't give you paper cuts. You can easily search your books and notes for any word or phrase. You can tap on words to instantly see their definitions. Books can have integrated videos or hyperlinks. You get to read them instantly instead of waiting on shipping or having to go to and from the bookstore. You can instantly flip between chapters and the author can give you free updates and revised editions if you'd like. But I just don't have time to talk about all of the reasons that I love ebooks. If you're a reader and still buy paper books, I hope you'll consider some of these benefits of switching. You might find that it'll help you read more or more comfortably. Maybe you like the security of not having to keep up with or protect a whole bunch of physical books. Or maybe you just want a more environmentally friendly option. Whatever your values or whatever your reading preferences, I hope that my experience can at least help you figure out which one is right for you. Before I go, I know that I mentioned that all of the books that I've read have been digital, but I recently did purchase a physical book. It's actually sitting right there on the shelf behind me. It's a book that I'm really excited to read. It's called How Stella Learned to Talk. It's about this person who taught their dog how to talk by pressing buttons. It's really cool. I'm really excited. I'll be using this book as an experiment to see if I'm really missing out on something by exclusively reading ebooks. So stay tuned for a future video where I talk about my first paper book in many years. Until then, if you found this video interesting or fun, I hope you'll give it a like and maybe even subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments how you like to read. Are you team digital or paper?